Welcome to the Touch MBA Admissions Podcast. Do you need help figuring out which schools to apply to or how to get into the world's top MBA programs? Hey, you're not alone. Join thousands of others on this podcast and on our site, touchmba.com, as they seek the admissions edge. And now, here's your host, Darren Joe.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Touch MBA podcast. I'm your host, Darren Joe. Thank you so much for listening. Here on the show, what we do is interview successful students, alumni, and of course, admissions directors from the world's top business schools so that you know what makes each of these programs different. And we hope to give you a lot of great tips on how you can get through your application journey and get into your dream MBA programs. This week, I brought on Tina Suvapatrachai, who is from Thailand and who attended Virginia Darden. She graduated in 2018. And we talked through her application journey, why she chose Darden, and what she really got from that program. I think Tina shares a really interesting perspective. And I think that you'll really learn what to look for from a great program. So I hope you enjoy our conversation. I also wanted to let you guys know that we're having a limited time promotion to buy our Admissions Edge online course and forum. This is an A to Z course on MBA admissions. It's basically taking, my decades worth of experience in the industry, all the podcasts that I've recorded, and putting it into 9 videos, about 2.5 hours, that walks you step by step through each part of your application. Our members have gotten into just about all the world's top ranked MBA programs. And after a 2-year hiatus, I'm reopening the forum. And what this means is that you can ask me your questions or get some guidance from me during your journey this application season. And as a bonus, for the first 25 people who sign up before May 25th, 2020, I will include a sanity check. One-on-one sanity check from me, which would mean you submit your resume, you tell me what your career goals are, what your story is in terms of why you're getting an MBA, and I will review all those things and make sure that they're strong and make sense before you start writing your essays. So I would give you a personalized video review to make sure your foundation is strong before you apply. So that's a nice little bonus that will go to the first 25 people who sign up. Please go check that out at touchmba.com/course. And I just want to say, thanks for supporting us. Like the whole reason I started this podcast and provide the free profile feedback on our site is because I don't want to make MBA admissions advice, world-class MBA admissions advice only accessible to those who can pay thousands of dollars to admissions consultants. So that's why we started Touch MBA, and that's why, I'll continue to record these podcasts, give them to you for free. But if you need more help and you want to support the mission of what we do here, please consider signing up for a course. It's $99 for the online course and $299 USD for the course plus the forum. So hope to meet some of you guys inside the forum. All right, now let's get to my talk with Tina. Here we go. It's my pleasure to introduce the next guest to the show. Her name is Tina Suvapatrachai. She's from Thailand, and she attended Virginia Darden's MBA program. And so this is the first time we've had both a guest from Thailand and from UVA Darden on the show. So she's the perfect combination, and I can't wait to learn more about her experience with Darden and the whole MBA process and journey and experience. So Tina, welcome to the Touch MBA podcast. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Darren. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah. So Tina, what were you doing before your MBA?
Right. So before Darden, I was at P&G for about 3 years. And then after that, I attended Darden. I finished business school in 2018. And now I am back in Thailand and I'm working at Samsung doing strategy type of work.
Yes. So had you always planned on getting an MBA, or was it something when you were at P&G? I mean, you were a chemical engineer, right, in undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
and then you were at P&G. And had this always been your plan to get an MBA?
Well, to be honest, it is more of my dad's plan for me to
Sure.
get an MBA. And like now, like having gone through the whole journey, I think I made the right decision of getting the degree because it has just given me a lot of opportunities to learn, to get a good career. So thanks to that, now I think I am in a good place, because of him.
Mm. So was it always like, did your dad had a hand in what you studied as an undergraduate too?
He kind of because at that time I didn't really know what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
or like what I should study in college. So he kind of like guided me on what I should do.
Yeah. And so why did you consider, Darden? Like what other schools were you thinking about at the time, if you can remember?
Yeah, I also got into Cambridge in the UK, but thinking between like the UK and US for business school, I feel that US business school would give me more in what I was looking for, which was learning and self improvement. For US schools, I applied to do UCLA, NYU, which I also got the offer from the last two schools.
Wow. So I mean, why did you pick those
Why did I?
four? Yeah, because
Uh,
they're all over the US, right?
I think mostly I look at the type of people that I would be friends with. I prefer somewhere that is collaborative. I didn't really have a preference in terms of whether or not it is in like a big city or like a small city. Mostly I look at how good the program is and what type of people that I would be friends with. And at the end, I picked Darden because first because of the KISS method. So at Darden, we we do 3 business cases per day, and that makes the experience that we have in the classroom very interactive because you have to try to answer the question and you listen to how your classmates answer the question. So yeah, because of case method, also I like how collaborative the community at Darden is. We have a very tiny community. People are very nice and helpful. So for example, when we were trying to like recruit to get a job, so although we were competing for the same job, the same role, but we were still trying to help each other to succeed. So yeah, like this is what I like most about Darden. Like people are helpful and caring, and I feel like this is the type of environment that I wanted to be in.
Yes. Okay. I want to get back to both those points in just a
Okay.
second because I have so many
Okay.
questions about the Darden experience, right? It has such a
Okay.
great reputation. But can I first
Mm-hmm.
ask, how were you able to suss out the types of people, right, as an applicant, the types
Mm-hmm.
of people and the culture of places like Duke, UCLA, NYU, along with Darden?
Yeah. So first, I do my research on Google. So I just see what information they have out there online. And then I started to reach out to some of the alumni and some of the classmates. So at first, I tried to talk to the Thai people who went to Darden, and then after that they would like refer me to like a lot more people for me to talk to. So for example, back then I was trying to get into tech industry. So the Thai Darden alumni that I talked to, refer me to her classmates who was working in like a big tech firm in the States. So like after talking to like a few people, I kind of like started to get a sense of what it is like to go to Darden and to get a degree from there.
But you had never visited the Darden
No,
campus. What about NYU or what about Duke or UCLA?
no. I have never gone to any of the campus visit, and that is just because I was in Bangkok, and it was just too far away from me to fly over there. But I would look at the pictures, or like I like would ask people who go to those schools of what it is like to be there. Yeah, and like for me, since like the size of the city doesn't really matter for me, so I didn't really do much research on like the places or how they look like.
Yes. Yeah. And then talking about your career goals. So you, at the time you wanted to get into tech. Could you tell us, a little bit more about how you positioned yourself, in terms of your career goals to apply to business school? Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the reasons that I went to business school was because I wanted to to be able to know what I want to do with my career. And before going to Darden, I decided to try tech industry because, well, it was growing at that time. Well, it is still growing. So it just seems like the type of industry that like people want to work for. And being at Darden, I talked to a lot of people trying to figure myself out. But just like many students who attended business school, a lot of us still do not know what we want to do after business school. And I guess it is a very common problem, like to not know what you want to do. I have some classmates who know what they wanted to do before coming to Darden, and then they left Darden knowing what they want to do too. So I guess it depends on like the person, but like for me, after Darden, well, I am still trying to figure out what I want to do, but I think going to business school really gave me like a platform to to land a better job, or it has helped me to improve my skills in like a lot of ways, or it has opened up my doors to a lot of job opportunities, which I am really grateful for. But the part about trying to figure myself out, I guess it is still like a work in progress for me, and like also for like a lot of people who went to business school.
It is so wonderfully refreshing to hear that from you, Tina, because I think so many people, when they come on a podcast like this, they have to know the answers. They have to have found the answers in some way. And so it's good to know that, yeah, you're not the only one who has that problem. I mean, I can speak from my personal experience. I'm still searching for what I want to do. I think I do think it is a lifelong search. But I mean, I do want to know, you talked about how Darden gave you a platform, but I mean, I'm sure there were tons of career type seminars, tests that you do, or of course, all the sort of industry explorations that the school helps facilitate. What, if anything, should applicants know about that? Like, I mean, first, you got the main point across, which is, you still haven't figured it out, and many of your classmates still haven't figured it out. But what should applicants expect from that whole career services side, or that whole career introspection side, which is such a big part of the MBA experience?
So I remember after I got into Darden, I talked to Darden career advisor, and we each had to take this career test. I don't remember the name, but this test help us figure out our strengths and what kind of job that would suit us. So that serves as well a guideline on what we could do after business school. And for me, what I think would be really helpful is to just talk to a lot of people from different industries, just ask about what kind of job that they do, like what they like most or dislike most about what they are doing right now. That should give you the sense of what kind of job that you would like or not like.
Absolutely. And how were you able to do that? And how do you do that now without completely bugging somebody, right?
Well, another thing that I like about Darden is like we have such a helpful community. So I have been reaching out to a lot of Darden alum, both in Thailand and like in Southeast Asia region, to just talk about what like what kind of jobs are available at their firm that they are working in. A lot of them are helpful enough to give give me advice, and some would like give me a referral for that job that I asked for. So, but apart from that, Darden also have like a lifelong alumni career services. I haven't really used it, but I think it is time for me to start to reach out to them and ask for some advice on that.
Yes. And well, okay, let me just ask you one more application question, because I know that now that you're a successful Virginia Darden alumni in Thailand, I know that you're huh?
Oh, thank you.
I know that you're in touch with a lot of applicants, right? Because now you're in the graduate's shoes, and these applicants are asking you, oh, like, what do I need to do with my application? How can I position myself better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I would like you to just, give some tips, like what common problems do you see? I mean, I guess you could speak specifically to international applicants, right? Looking to apply to US business schools. And more generally, like what advice would you have for applicants?
Yeah, I think one thing is the applicants tend to give too much importance to the GMAT score. Well, the GMAT score is important, but I feel like it is not everything that they look for. So I would suggest that applicants should also spend time on writing the essay, because the essay show who you are. And another suggestion would be just try to be yourself, but also do research on the schools. So for example, at Darden, we like someone who is collaborative. We like someone who will be able to participate in classroom, someone who is willing to help the classmates, someone who can learn from people, but who can also teach people in things that they are good at.
Yeah. So your point is that they need to demonstrate those qualities in their essays?
Yeah. So in the essays, maybe in their profile, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're hinting at, and tell me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing from you is really try to understand what the school is about culturally. And then instead of just worrying about your GMAT score, try hard to authentically show who you are while basically showing that you're a good fit with the school's culture.
Yeah. That is right. Yeah. So just do research about the school and don't worry too much about GMAT score.
Wait, okay, hold on. Don't worry too much about GMAT score. I have to get you on this. So what are we talking about here? Are you saying if you're in the range, don't worry about it, right? Because every school has that like 80% range, or if you're close to the average, or what exactly do you mean by GMAT score?
Well, so for example, if you score like a 710 or like 730, like it shouldn't make that much of a difference. So I think as long as you are like in that range that they look for, I think to be safe, like maybe they should get like above like a 700 score, and that so I think that should be a safe spot.
Got you. Anything else? Any other like things you just wish more applicants knew about the process?
Let me think. So this is more for like, this is more on like the fit, because you can only go to business school once. So I feel like you should really choose the school like based on the fit, because if you like do not fit into the school, then you might not enjoy your 1 or like the 2 years in business school much. So so do like a lot of research and like know what it would be like being in that business school.
And the only way to do that is to talk to students and alumni, right? Is there any other way?
I think, well, like you can do some research online. Well, you can listen to podcasts. Like just search for the information online. But I feel like talking to students or like alumni are like the most effective ways. Just that because you like can learn from their firsthand experience of what it is like being there.
Right. And how has that experience been for you as an alumni?
Do you mean like have I talked to people, or?
Yeah, like, I mean, because when you say you find a school that really fits you, right? The core of the experience is those really intense 1 or 2 years that you spend on campus. But then you also are a part of that family for the rest of your life. So I think that experience is also important too, especially when you're making such a large investment.
Could you like repeat the question? Sorry.
No problem. I'm just wondering if you've had a positive experience being a Darden alumni as well, even though you're a pretty fresh graduate.
Okay, so this is my second year after Darden. I haven't really been back to the school yet because I have moved back to Thailand, but I still talk to other Darden classmates. Well, we actually had a plan to meet up last March in Bali, but because of COVID, we have to cancel the trip. Maybe we will postpone it into second half of the year. Apart from that, I helped host the admission event in Thailand a few months ago. So the Darden committee came to Thailand to like recruit new students. So I help out with the events. Yeah, and one more thing that I forgot to mention. A lot of schools come to Thailand or like or your country to do like an event for the admission. I think that is also a good way to learn more about the schools that you are interested in.
Absolutely. And I'm going to do a little bit of self-promotion really quick. If you guys go to touchmba.com/events, you can sign up for wherever you are in the world. And we basically send you all the top 50 ranked business schools that are visiting. So you know whenever they're in town. And you don't have to, go to everyone's website to research that. So that's totally free service. Check that out, touchmba.com/events. So I totally agree with taking advantage of those opportunities to meet like the admissions officers, students, and professors sometimes too. Okay, Tina, let's talk about the actual Darden experience. All right. So at the very beginning of the talk, you made it very clear that you selected the school because of the case study method and because of the collaborative, helpful culture, these two things you mentioned. So I kind of want to peel the onion back on these two things. So first of all, Darden's professors are world-renowned. They have this great reputation, like they're the best MBA teachers on the planet. Poets and quants just called the Darden experience the world's best educational experience. Wow. So as someone who has gone through it, yeah, like what were your thoughts on the professors and whether that sort of case study education matched your expectations or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Darden professors are great. I think, well, like, to be honest, I feel that all the professors at top business school are great, like they are smart, but I think what makes Darden professors different is how they are willing to help out students. So, for example, my classmates and I, we sometimes have a lot of questions, and sometimes it is not related to what we learn in class. And we know that we can always go to the professors like to ask for the advice or help. And and the professors are very helpful. They are willing to help us and help us to learn and to grow. So I'm very happy about that. And as for the educational experience, so as I mentioned, since our classrooms are case method, it's such a new and a very like rich experience for me, because like you can learn so much from your classmates, and you can learn how to answer the questions or how to ask the questions in like a smart way. And I think at the end of the day, like we have seen and solved so many business problems, which is really helpful when we start working in the real world, because then we feel like that we have seen those type of problem and then we know how to solve them.
And aside from that exposure, right, to so many different business cases, I'm wondering how else that type of business education has really served you in the workforce.
I think it's helpful because, let's say, before going to Darden, I was always like so scared to like speak up during a meeting, or like when like I was in front of like a large group of people. But being at Darden for 2 years, I think I have changed in like a better way. Like I am like now like not shy like to speak up during a meeting, to share with people my thoughts on like a topic. So that is the big difference that I can see coming out of business school. And like apart from that, I think I have learned about like when and how to ask questions, especially in like a formal business setting, because when you are in the classroom, like you are with another like 60 people who are from different countries, who are from different industries before Darden. So because of that, the classroom is really diverse, and I just feel like I have learned to take in different opinions, and I have learned to form an opinion and tell other people.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And was it very stressful to prepare for so many cases every day?
Definitely. Well, it was pretty tough, and it was pretty stressful because we have to prepare for cases, and on top of that, we were trying to get a job. But at Darden, like we have a learning team, so students are put into a team of 5 or 6, and in the team it is very diverse. So for example, in my team, We have people from 3 different countries, and everyone were from a different industry with like a totally different background. So like because of that, we have helped each other to learn. So let's say if like we were prepping for like a finance case, so like a finance guy in our team would step up and teach us on the business concepts that we might not know.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. And those learning teams stay with you through the first semester, first year, or how long?
Yeah. Let me try to remember. Our learning team. Because it's been 2 years. I think they stay with us until second year. I think first semester of second year. So I need to check on that. But I know that the learning team stay with you for your entire first year and maybe a little bit of second year.
Got it.
Yeah.
And what else totally surprised you about the Darden experience?
I think so what really surprises me is like how fast like the time has gone by because so one of the reasons that I chose to come to Darden was because it is a 2-year program, and but then when you are actually in business school, like time flies so fast. And I just remember that like when I was in my last semester in my second year at Darden, I just wish that it wouldn't just end here because I just had so much fun being with my friends, just like learning and like improving myself in business school.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Like how much you loved spending time with your friends. Were most of your friends were from business school that you made?
Most of my so most of the people that I hang out with were Darden students. I also hang out with the Thai students who were study at UVA. So I guess like 2 or 3 different groups of people that I hang out with when I was over there.
Well, let's talk about that because I think there's a lot of listeners to this show that are international students. Maybe they've never even studied in the U.S. before. I know you had studied at Penn State, right, as an undergrad. So you had that experience. But, well, first of all, is it true that the UVA campus is the most beautiful campus in America?
Yes, it is true.
Is it true? Is it true through objective study that the campus is? I just love it when schools just like claim this stuff. Like, yeah, we have the most beautiful campus in America for sure. But it is beautiful, right?
Yeah, because we are listed on like UNESCO as like the world history. What I think I may get it wrong. I think you need to check on that. But like, yeah, I think we are on like UNESCO for something.
Well, it's Thomas Jefferson's old house, isn't it?
Yes, it is Thomas Jefferson old house. I have the privilege to visit it, which is really, really beautiful. I think you guys just need to come to see it for yourself.
And, you know, being an international student in Charlottesville, what was that experience like? Because I know you mentioned you weren't really concerned about city size and all that, but the surrounding city played a big role in your experience, right? Or maybe not.
For me, not really. But what I like about Charlottesville is not that crowded, and it is very green. So on weekends, we can go hiking or we can go drink wine at the vineyard. So I love doing that. So like to me, it doesn't really make a difference being in like a big or like small city. But if like you are someone who only want to be in the big city, then you should do more research about like the business schools that you apply for.
I've had a couple friends who have gone to business school and they've told me that, well, more than a couple, but they've told me that sometimes it's tough to integrate everyone, like, because I mean, obviously people are coming from all different backgrounds, right? Whether you're international or not, or at a certain stage of life, like married with family or not and all that. But Did you find you were able to really blend in as an international student with your American classmates and classmates from around the world?
I think it blend in okay. Maybe part of that is because I went to college in the US before, but I would say that people who go to MBA, they are looking for new experiences. So because of that, people tend to welcome people from different background or from different countries. So yeah, like to me, yeah, like you will be fine adjusting to the new environment.
I mean, did you have any tips for your friends, your international student friends who weren't as well adjusted as you? Like, did you notice any difficulties, or was it pretty easy for them too?
I think it depends on the person. I think people who can bring in I think people who can blend in pretty well are those who are not afraid to share their cultural differences because as I mentioned, like people who go to business school, like they really want to experience new things. So like once you share like things from your home country, like your culture, or like if you teach them your native language, I think most people would be excited to learn and to be friends with you.
Yeah, that's very clear. And so, looking back on your 2 years there, you said the time went by so fast. You're preparing for like tons of cases. You're doing all this recruiting, and we'll get to that in a second. But what advice would you give to like an incoming student about making the most out of that precious time?
I think before coming to business school, like they should have a list of things that they want to achieve
Interesting. Yeah.
before leaving business school. And the reason for that is like once you start the program, like you will get lost in like a tons of like classroom works or like activities that they have at the school. So like because of that, like you might be lost and like you might forget like why you are here. So by having a list of things that you want to achieve before leaving business school would help you to know so it would help you to keep you on track.
How long was your list, Tina?
um
Or did you have a
Not
list?
very long. I did have a list. I
Would you
think
mind
it was
sharing?
only 3 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay, if I can remember, one was to improve on my leadership skills. I remember writing it down that like I want to be in charge of like a club or like an event or something. And at Darden, I was like a VP for event at Asia Business Club at Darden. Yeah, so like a tick on that. So that's what I achieved. I think the second thing on the list was being more like well-rounded on business concepts, because since I didn't study business in college, that is one of the things that I want to achieve coming to business school. Yeah, so I put a tick on that as well. The third, fourth, and fifth, I kind of forgot, but I just remember that I did achieve all the things that I wanted to do before coming to business school.
That's fantastic. So I have to ask you about, well, I'm just curious to get your opinion on this. So I'm not sure if you've heard, but the coronavirus is really affecting the application cycle, because not only with the application process and like not being able to come on campus to interview or visit and all this stuff, but even if you've gotten in, like I heard Harvard, for example, just said, okay, you guys can defer for a year, or if they don't give that option, yeah, you'll have to take Zoom classes, like instead of being there in person. So I'm just curious, as someone who has gone through the in-person, experience. Maybe you did some online classes as well. How important do you think it is to be on campus during this experience?
I think it is absolutely important because, well, first, like business schools also give you a network. Like you spend 2 years, so you make a lot of friends, and like a lot of these people will help you grow your network in the future. So I think building relationships with your classmates in person is really important. And another thing is like how you deal with people, and I think this is what business school has taught me a lot. So for example, like during meeting with my learning team, I have learned a lot from them, and I think it is a very important skill for MBA grads to have. So that's why, I think it is still very important to do an in-person education, like if you can.
So you don't think, I'm going to say, like, you don't think it's possible to get those two things, networking, learning how to deal with people in an online environment?
Yes, you can, but I feel like an in-person interaction is more sincere, and like maybe you can build relationship quicker if you get to hang out on like weekends, or you go hiking, you drink wine, or like you go out together. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like some students, I think at both a lot of top ranked schools that had to take Zoom classes in second semester were demanding like 80% refunds on their tuition.
Oh.
Touchy subject, right? Very touchy.
Yeah.
Like how are schools going to respond to that? And I think it calls into question a lot of the value of the experience, and where does that lie, and how does the in-person versus online thing affect value of the MBA? I'm sure there will be many future episodes exploring that, but thank you for your opinion there. I have to ask about internships and jobs, because obviously that's a huge part of the experience. You came back to Thailand after your MBA, but I think let me first ask, was that your plan? And because I think a lot of international students want to stay in the US or wherever they are to studying their MBA.
Yeah. So my plan at first was to stay in the States for like maybe 1 or 2 years, like to work and gain experience. But I know that at the end of the day, I would want to go back to Thailand because like this is home. I think after Darden, I tried to stay there for a little while to look for a job. But since it wasn't successful, so I came back to Thailand and landed a good job here.
Yeah. And so your internship, where was your internship?
It was in Bangkok as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And could you tell us what you did and how you were able to get that internship?
Yeah. I was at PwC GN, which is like a consulting firm. I got it through a referral network. So I was in the US when I interviewed for this position. That was in my first year at Darden, like the last semester or second last semester. Yeah.
So what was your approach with the internship? Like, I'm just curious, because you're in the middle of the beginning of the year, so many things are flying around you. You're getting used to everyone. You're meeting everyone. You're meeting with your learning team. You're reading preparing for 3 case studies a day. Like, were you thinking, okay, I want to get an internship in the States, or I want to get an internship back home, or I'll get an internship wherever I can get one, like, or in certain industries? Like, what were you thinking? What was your thought process?
Yeah. So I tried both, but at that time I wanted to try consulting.
Gotcha.
And for me, since I don't really like to fly that much, so I didn't want to do consulting in the States because of that. But if I do consulting in Thailand, then I would just have to be in Bangkok, or if I have to fly, it is going to be like a short flight. So like since my plan A was in consulting, so I lean more towards like coming back to Thailand for my internship at that time.
Got you.
Yeah.
And then what about your current job with Samsung?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my can you like elaborate more on?
Yeah. So, because usually people in the 2-year program, right, they view their internship as a way to explore another industry, but also perhaps to secure a full-time offer, right? Like after their second year. So, like maybe you realized at PwC you didn't want to be in the consulting field, or like I'm just curious how you transitioned from that into your current job now.
Okay. Yeah, so my current job is still in strategy as well. I think I just wanted to explore new industries. Like the job is not that much different. It is not that much different from what I did before, but it is still along the line in terms of like the skill sets that I use.
Gotcha. And then, just kind of speaking for your international peers who were trying to do the same thing, like what did you notice about, or like what tips could you give for our international listeners in terms of succeeding in their internship and job searches? Like, did you see any patterns or ways your classmates were able to, land their...
Yeah. So one thing that I have learned from my experience was that I needed to be more clear on where I want to work. Because for me, like I was okay with both working in the States or coming back to Thailand. So like because of that, maybe I didn't try that hard like for both of the ways. But a lot of my international classmates who were set on like working in the States, like they try really, really hard for that. And most of them are very successful and now they are working in the States right now. So my advice would be to really know what you want to do and where you want to do it.
And okay, yeah. So just having that clarity and then making the most of the resources at Darden to get there. Yeah. But isn't that kind of the hard part though? Like back to the beginning of what we were talking about, like not quite knowing what you want to do, but then also knowing exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
Yeah.
the it's like chicken and egg problem.
Yeah, well, I think for me, like going to business school is still worth it because like it has helped me like to grow in many different ways, and it has also opened a lot of doors of opportunities, and like to me, that is very helpful. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, could you give like one specific example of like a door that's been open to you because of the MBA versus if you didn't have it?
Yeah, so for example, I have a lot of recruiters reaching out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah, like stuff like that. Or I got invited to like an exclusive event, like for networking. So I feel like like having a degree or like having a good work experience, like would like set your foot on the door. Yeah.
Totally. Yep. Got it. And what I'm just curious personally, what one class or book or experience even has really stuck with you since your Darden times? Is there one? Yeah. I mean, it could be a class, it could be a book, it could be a classmate, it could be an experience that continues to help you to this day.
Okay. I think it is the experience that I had while being there. So since I didn't really take any business classes before coming here, and trying to like recruit for a job was hard, I got a lot of help from my classmates. So the experience of knowing that your classmates have your back and are willing to help you for whatever you need, that is very important to me, and it is something that I still think about after leaving school.
That's awesome. I think that's a perfect place to end our talk. I mean, just to have that feeling that you have good friends and smart people that have your back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's like so empowering. Yeah, Tina, thank you so much for sharing your experience with Darden, and I hope this conversation, helps people who might be considering the program and just what to look for from MBA programs in general. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me.
Thanks for listening to the Touch MBA podcast. Don't be shy. We have a mailing list. Go to touchmba.com and get yourself signed up. And we'll keep you posted with the best tips and insider interviews on how to get into your number one school. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook at Touch MBA. See you soon.